Hello and welcome to another edition of Momentum. I'm your host, John Mercado. My first guest today is Dr. Mark Horstemeyer, CAV's chair professor in the College of Engineering, in the Department of Mechanical Engineering in the Bagley College of Engineering at Mississippi State. Mark, thanks for being with us today.
Good to be here, John.
And you have a lot that you can talk about, but I think we're starting with bioinspiration based on the visual aids you brought.
Yeah, I did. Let me just start by saying I first came here, I didn't have an idea about this at all, really. And it was in the process of doing our car work at CAV's that I started thinking about the engineering of the car and the history that went on in that, and a lot of things were carried on in history. So I started thinking about, what new ideas can we bring in? And so I just started studying things in nature. As a Christian, I believe God made everything. And I thought, okay, if he's the great engineer, how could I understand his ways of how he made things? So I started thinking that. And one of the things was this fossil here. And you can see in here, there's these lines that go up and down, the wiggles right there. Mm-hmm. Those are called sutures. And you see there's a big one, and there's a little one on top, and a little one on top all the way through. What you find out in nature, anytime there is an animal that experiences a shock of some sort, a woodpecker, a ram like this in this ram's horn here, this kind of seashell, anything, turtle shells, armadillo shells, there's always these sutures. And we have them in our skull. And what they do is they will take a normal wave and make it into shearing. Shearing dissipates energy. So then it's taking that idea and put it into bumpers. Put it into side doors of cars. And what you find is in our cars, in our vans, trucks, we don't have things like this, but yet it's ubiquitous in nature. It's everywhere. So that's one of the ideas here. Another idea is the curvature of this. And you see this curvature going from really thick to really thin, and it goes in like this. It's exactly a Fibonacci sequence. I don't know if you know what Fibonacci is. You take 1 plus 2 equals 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5, 3 plus 5 equals 8, 5 plus 8, and you go on and on. When you take the highest number divided by the next one, it's always 1.6, always. And when you put a 1 or 2 or 3 and you start going through this curvature, you find it's a Fibonacci sequence. This guy lived around 1000 AD, and you find it in nature as well. But usually it's a law of beauty people relate to. Like Einstein, for example, went into physics because of the Fibonacci sequence, actually. If you find out Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, it was all in Fibonacci sequences. Okay, so it's sound, beauty. Look, I've tried to find out if it's related to strength. And recently we have found that out. It's even in things like the ram's horns. And this is a perfect Fibonacci sequence as it goes through here. And in the ram's horn, you find the sutures that are real small. You can't even see them. But at this large scale, it's you hear the resonant frequency in that wave, and that curvature it makes that wave transfer that way. And when it's first hit, it starts out what's called a normal wave, and it goes all the way back, turns into shearing. The same thing that happens here. And again, it's how we want to dissipate things. So we're seeing this ubiquitous idea in nature, things that you wouldn't say is related at all, a ram's horn and this kind of thing, but yet they're there. It's because of common engineer,
right,
that made it all.
Right. So
we're bringing these ideas into, the automotive world, trying to bring them into the helmet world, whether it's football helmets, baseball helmets, even soccer helmets. We had a design team last semester, mechanical engineering, trying to implement some of these ideas. So we had 3 teams, a soccer helmet team, a hockey helmet team, and a baseball helmet team.
And I think some of that research has to do with concussions, right? So you're kind of using that in terms of concussion research. Can you talk about that a little bit more? Yeah.
So the idea is how to protect the human with this structure outside. So with this, ammonoid here, the animal's inside, and how to protect it with this shell. You want to protect the ram's horns or the ram's brain. So you're using the horn. So in the car, of course, design the car for the human. You may be surprised, but cars aren't designed for humans. They're designed for dummies. Right. But the same thing, okay, then that's when I had the thought about football helmets. How do you protect the brain, and how do you design something outside, with that to protect the brain from concussions? So right now, concussions are, not, they aren't, football helmets are not being designed for concussions, right?
Right, right.
So
And your research can help maybe make a change.
that's the
sort of
idea for
paradigm
that kind of
shift in
thing.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about outside of football? What about any sort of commercial or more widespread applications? Are there things that can be used for outside of that?
Yeah, we're doing related to this, even like, well, from shoulder pads to mats, for taekwondo or karate or things like this. How do you make mats to mitigate from the shock wave?
Right.
But even beyond that this is a megalodon tooth here, John, and this is only 4.5 inches. I say only 4.5 inches because the biggest one was 7.5 inches, and that was estimated to be 75 feet long.
Wow.
So this was only about 40 feet long. But if you look at the serrations on the edge, you can imagine. So we're also doing like studies of different sharks and their mechanisms for tearing and ripping.
Right.
And the idea is, could we come up with a new knife or a new cutting mechanism through structures,
Right.
From an engineering perspective.
Wow. Well, Mark, this has been great. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure.
We'll be right back after the short break to talk with Tamra Swann from the Bagley College's distance education program.
It's a simple idea. Knowledge that transforms lives shouldn't be limited to those on a campus, but extended to any and all who want or need it, wherever they are. At Mississippi State University, we've been making that possible for more than 100 years through the MSU Extension Service. What began as an effort to extend the latest research to farmers has become something much more. Today, we're helping Mississippians from all walks of life, giving them the tools they need to build a brighter future. We're sparking the imagination of students around the state and inspiring the next generation of doctors. We're helping rural communities find their way to the internet and connect to the world at large. And we're teaching families how to lead healthier lives in ways both big and small. MSU is standing firm in its commitment to that one simple idea: extend the knowledge that transforms lives wherever they are. Imagine a helmet so protective that it transforms the safety of the game. We are at Mississippi State University, where we ring true. When you're the best, everyone wants to see what you'll do next. At Mississippi State University, our team of world-class rocket engineers is venturing beyond boundaries, building rockets like none before. We're launching a new era of space exploration. We've developed cutting-edge technology that's helping us build a rocket that can travel at 4 times the speed of sound. Fast? Yes. But more importantly, revolutionary. For you and for a space program that produces many of the conveniences we enjoy today. We're shaping your life in ways you never dreamed. What's next? Watch us and see.
Welcome back. Our next guest is Tamra Swann, who's the Distance Education Coordinator for the Bagley College of Engineering. Tamra, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with an overview of the Bagley College's Distance Education Program. Tell us about it.
Okay, well, we have an excellent graduate program through the college. Almost all of our graduate programs are available via distance. That is in our master's programs and our PhDs. That is not unique in the country, but there are very few opportunities like that. So you can get an entire master's or PhD completely online. Some of our masters are thesis-based, some of them non-thesis-based. And on top of the fact that they're so easily accessible via online education, they are also accredited. So we are ranked by U.S. News & World Report in the top 25 programs nationwide consistently. And we're also ranked by GetEducated.com as a best buy consistently.
Okay. So what's the typical format for a distance class? I imagine there are some pretty obvious differences between distance ed and traditional classrooms, but maybe some similarities as well.
Well, we are very fortunate in that we have the capabilities over at Bagley that we have several classrooms that are specifically formatted for distance education. So a typical student would be viewing the same classes that our on-campus students are viewing in their entirety. So we put the classes in these classrooms, we record them in their entirety, and then by the end of the day, typically, about the time most people would be getting home from work and finished with supper, they can go in and upload their videos and watch and participate in class. And they'll have access to the same professors that the on-campus students do and the same resources.
That's great. I imagine the concept of distance is still somewhat unfamiliar to many students. What are the typical sort of questions and concerns a prospective student might have about distance ed in engineering?
Well, like I said, there's several different formats for distance education. So you might have some classes in other colleges, for example, that you're almost an independent learner. You're having to go through all the materials on your own, take tests at the end. As I mentioned, our classes are formatted so they're viewing exactly what the on-campus student does. They have access to the faculty via email, our web-based learning network that they can get, our platform. And a lot of students kind of feel like they're going to be out there alone, and that's not the case. So they have access to the dean's office, myself and others who can help them with their paperwork or making sure that they find out the answers that they need so that they're not, if they see on a form, hey, you have to go get these signatures, no, we can help you with that kind of thing. And they have advisors within the program that will help them create a program of study so they'll know which direction they need to go and get that all outlined with assistance. The technology unit is available to them. They have a specific email address that they can get support from. And they will find that with this specific format that they have a lot of the same resources that our on-campus students do.
Okay. And as far as the student population, is it mainly students in the southeastern United States, or they spread over other parts of the country as well?
Right now, we do have a large population of students from Mississippi.
Right.
And we actually have a great relationship with the Engineering Research and Development Center in Vicksburg, Mississippi, whereas we get a lot of students from them, but we have access to their staff and faculty that they assist us on that level as well. But then we do have students from around the rest of the country, and we even have a few students internationally. So that's the blessing of having these fully recorded courses, that they can go in and access those courses anytime, anywhere, and then get back with the professor with any questions they might have afterwards.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Well, this has been great speaking with you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Sure. That's our show for today. Remember, you can follow us on social media through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at MSU Engineering. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.